start with? Let's start where we left off yesterday. With that, we were working on 4 arms. Your lower arm. What did I say to do with it? What did I say to do with it? Down. All right. Did you see the last lesson or two? Yeah, it's nothing special, new or different. But very often you can give somebody something that's not new or different, but you say it differently. You give a different mental picture. It can make a huge difference sometimes. It certainly did for Sherry. Because I always yell at her, keep your arms down, up the back, armpits, keep your arms down. And then I invented some little fantasies for her, and all of a sudden she could tell when she was going to this. All right, so you have a power strip on each side, right? You have a plug here. You can plug it in somewhere, or you can just say, for starters, meaty, I call it meaty part of forearm. And you say, I have to find some thigh to put this on. Okay. Okay, so it'll make you feel at first like this, like this at first. You say, if I don't like it, I can always recant. Okay, so some horses that I get on, I don't think like that at all. Other horses I get on and I go, ugh, I'll squat in here to make this point. And maybe it'll not be a way of life, but it's a way of changing current life. All right, so if I yell forearms, you will know what I mean, so I don't have to babble on forever. Yes. I do that enough anyway. Now, besides the fact that it gives you a good fantasy and a good image, there is also a psychological effect, maybe psychological, but anyway, an effect on the horse. And that would be that if she's braced or heavy or something, that you push down, which would be that, instead of pulling back, even though you don't want to, don't plan to, and try not to, it happens, huh? Happens to everybody, I promise you. Okay, forearms. Plug them into that power strip. Let's see what she does. Maybe nothing, maybe worse before it gets better, maybe better right away, we don't care. Okay, but remember, the reason I say meaty part of forearm is not necessarily the wrist. That's not necessarily wrong, but I wouldn't start with that. I'd say, okay, I can either put my wrists and pretend I have a plug in my wrist, and I can plug that into my little imaginary power strip. But you may need to say, upsy-daisy, you can still have this plug plugged into your power strip even when you bring your hand up. Gives you more leeway, but it's always possible to change our minds. Okay, trot and play at that. We didn't play around with warm-up, and you know what I want to see anyway. Okay. So just go around. We don't have to do anything special. Big circle or around the ring or anything you want. Okay, forearms. The reason I said that, I happened to be at that moment watching your shoulders, which were doing this. Okay, so it's the same as if I say back armpit muscles, or broaden your shoulders, or engage the scapular stabilizers or upper back. It gives you more, even more ways to think, huh?
Yes.
Good. So, for the heck of it, I want you to try, just for awareness. Raise your hands and plug in your meaty part of forearm into your imaginary power strip. So that would mean this. Yes, just so. Rather
fun?
than, if
Look
I
good.
say to somebody, raise your hands, what do they nearly always do? Yeah. They raise the whole arm. Okay? That's destabilizing. Then we suffer from having to try to reorganize that. We don't care about her. We can reconstruct her anytime. Good. And when you give her a whack with a whip or a tap with a whip, make sure you have your meaty part of forearm plugged into your power strip on your thigh. Very fanciful, I know, but sometimes that's more useful than saying, just sit still.
I'm
Good.
having withdrawals,
Now go faster.
chocolate withdrawals. I need to go get
For
my
the
pen.
point of interest, can I
can't
go
turn
faster
this.
without
You have-
going
I just
high
don't
shoulder, high elbow,
Point
high
shit.
forearm?
I just take a line here, point
Okay,
it.
okay.
Button.
Say I'd like to go faster, but nobody tricks me into doing that. So shoulders are high. So plug in your arm, your forearm, plug into your power strip on your thigh as a fantasy. Ah, much better. Brian, can you see it? Where'd you go?
You just went inside to go to the bathroom, I think.
It's forbidden. And one of the complications about this, of course, is that it's totally counterintuitive. When we want go, we tend to go higher, higher, higher. So I don't know how much of you of Suzanne's lesson you saw, or Sherry's lesson, but it's just, yeah, go ahead. It's a way of making you compact. And of course that sounds quite wrong, because we're always told stretch up, huh?
Yes.
But it doesn't work. The problem is, it doesn't work. So that's why in any sport, but certainly in riding where we have less real information available to us, the use of fantasy and imagery can be so good. Turning part's great. Okay, done. So, when I say to somebody every day, every horse in your warm-up, check your simple turn, simple sidle, that means check it. If it's working perfectly, you don't have to spend 40 minutes practicing it. It's a yes. It's a check off the list. Next trick. All right, trot again. Good. Now if I were to say, brighten it up, more energy, you would be inclined to go, ooh, lift your shoulders, lift your elbows, lift your forearms, lift your armpits, and you're going to say, quite opposite. I'm going to say, horsey, let us learn that when I put my forearms down, plug them in as it were, it's a cue for you to run. To some degree anyway, reasonable degree, not crazy. Okay? So, plug your forearms down, and then when she goes, I don't care and I don't hear, then you come on with a whip, daintily first, and then a bit stronger.
Oh, can I watch? You don't mind?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, go. We're going to make this a cue. You're When you said go,
You take
you
notes.
were pretty good at first. Then when you used the whip, you went. Okay? So,
Lifted the
that
shoulders.
happens. Either put up with being bounced, or if that doesn't appeal, post. But even when you post, the meaty part of the forearm is downward towards your thigh. Broad shoulders, blah, blah, blah. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, go. Good. The more normal and intuitive way of operating is high shoulders, high armpits, high elbows, high forearms. Okay, press down, that's the cue to run. Ah, it worked.
Amazing.
It's normal, though, that we don't have a real feeling about what they feel, what they interpret. We can learn to help them understand better, but who'd have thought that putting your forearms down would make her go, yowza, time to go. All right, go again. And good behavior, bad behavior, doesn't matter. You do the same. Forearm plugs into power strip on thigh as a way of life. And an extreme version says run like heck. All right, so let's plug that in harder. She must run. Aha. Got it. Good noise. Okay? Push her meaty part of elbow down. She must fly or else taps of whip. Fight! Good. All right, rest and pattern. Now, this is really important because what we don't realize in riders, somebody tells us, use your leg, use your whip, make that horse move on and show enthusiasm. And we go, right. We don't realize that we're going, and the horse goes, well, it's not very encouraging. You're hanging back on me. Okay, yeah. Can be really useful till it becomes almost a cue system that says, honey, when I go and push my meaty part of forearm into some part of the thigh, that means go like heck. And if there are other little issues above the bit, or the steering's not perfect, or not the ideal gait, we don't much care. And then, if you cannot do that because of the bounciness of the horse, you post. But when you post, you keep that happening. Yep. Meaty part of forearm hard hit. Good. Some sitting. I don't care how much. Just the idea of it. Okay. Forearms. Forearms. Yes. Aha. Good. What?
Yes, yes.
It else besides the effect on the horse. It has a stabilizing effect on the rider.
Yeah, sure does. I can feel it.
Also, when things aren't so sittable and the horse throws you into the air, it won't disrupt you very much. Whereas, normally a person's going, please God, could I sit on this horse? It would be lovely. And the horse makes a something. It pecks or it hops or it takes a short step. Throws the rider up and the rider goes, ah. Okay, then it backfires. So you say, okay, if things are going to go wrong here, there's a rule. I can fly out of the saddle quite high, but never will this fly away from my thigh. My hand could go up, fine, or down, don't care, but never is it going to go, ooh, ooh, ooh. And if I can't control that, post it while I fix it. Okay? Head go. Forearms. Oi, oi. That's her cue. She should be running by now. That's our new cue, huh? If it's overdone, we can always tone it down. Good. Go a little. Armpits. Sorry. It's true what I said, armpits down, but we're going to call it now, plug your meaty part of forearm into the power strip that's on top of your thigh, and she should go, holy yowza. That was good, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. It changes it from endless proddings and kickings with the feet to a sort of whole body function, which, if it fails, of course we're allowed to say, hey, you missed it. I give you a kick, I give you even a touch of the whip, I scream at you. But at least we say, okay, honey, here's how it goes. When I do this, you're supposed to go. Okay, get it. Yeah, good. It's quite well. Yeah. Self-motivated, it would appear. Neat. That's big on our list. Because she had a period there where she wasn't very self-motivated. All right, got it?
Yes.
Okay, standing canter. Now, you may lose the canter quite a few times, and you will say, I knew that. This is typically what happens. We'll get on with it soon enough, but I'm not going to go into humpata, lifty, leany forward. So, you wish for canter with your meaty part of armpits down. If she misses it, you whack her and say, you missed it, you great cow. Ah, good, eh?
Yes.
Much better than yesterday.
Yes.
Good. And remember, you are allowed, when she goes, yeah, we're done here, you are allowed to push your hips forward. Good. And when you need to contain her more in front, it will be done by pushing your meaty part of forearm down. Down, down! Did you feel it happen?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. The shoulders, the armpits, the elbows, and the forearms all flew up. It's allowed to stand up at that moment. That's not a problem. But everybody thinks it's forbidden. No, it's not. Aha, good. Good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's quite fun. Well, yes. Did you feel it when I made a noise?
Yeah.
All right. Because once this happens, there's not much hope. Or, even if it's not, when I say not much hope, I don't mean you're in danger of life and limb. I mean, there's not much hope in making it become a learning proposition.
Right.
Okay. All right, Ken. That's down. All right, I want to give you a trick. Oh, well done. Well done. Down. Forearms. Less back and forth. I know I told you to do that, but now convert some of it to down. In the meaty part of the forearm. Yep. Good. Lovely. Down. Oh, good. Did you want to break out of the canter?
Yeah.
Oh, fine. Even if you didn't, I'd still say it's good. Because you didn't go, we have to trot now, or we have to trot now. It was still lifting. So, I think it's very important for many riders, certainly it was for me for a long time, to be aware that it is allowed for the seat to fly out of the saddle, some, but it's not allowed for the forearms or elbows or armpits or shoulders to fly up.
Okay.
So, when I think to myself, holy cow, I am going to be bashed in the bum, in my case, bashed in the back, I say, okay, I don't care. I can stand up, but I can still do this part, the push down. Rather than, oh, I must stay sitting down, but it's going to hurt or it's going to be impossible, so I do this. Okay? So different from what we think is supposed to happen. Okay, counter. What's the cue? You didn't answer the question.
Oh.
And you a school teacher and all.
Elbows down.
And children. Okay. All right. So then, separate question. What was the cue? Separate question. What did you do when it didn't work?
Oh, when it didn't work, I leaned forward. I put my back and I was happy to lean forward. And
All right, good. That's what I wanted. Because it's the recognition that's so important. You can't learn how to do do something better if you don't know how you just did it. You know that from teaching, huh? So to just like in dressage, keep yelling at people, well, you just feel it. Beg your pardon. So I want to give you a little fantasy to play with her. That will be as a displacement replacement, something of the sort for what happens when you perhaps ask in a good way and then it's a bust. Okay, we accept that. That happens all the time. But then, as soon as it's a bust, the rider goes, oh, flat, flat. All right, so what I would like to do as a little mental exercise, I don't really care or expect that it will make any marvelous difference, but it could. And that would be to say, all right, what am I going to do for my counter-depart aid and then for the way I deal with, uh-oh, it didn't work. All right, so what I'd like you to do is fantasize that you put your inside meaty part of forearm down, straight down. Other rein, sometimes I say give the outer rein. Well, sometimes that backfires because the rider goes, okay, okay. So what I want you to fantasize, sounds quite silly, but it could be helpful, it's very much what I do, is inner rein, inner forearm plug into the backmost plug of your power strip on that side. Outside rein, this imaginary plug goes into a somewhat more forward plug on the power strip, and then you say, that is a law. That's what I do. And then if they get it, fine, then you can do whatever you want. If they don't get it, you say, hey, I don't fall apart. And then if they're really horrible, you have to just stop. Okay? But it's a way of helping us not go, I'm going to give the eggs correctly. I gave the eggs correctly. Oh gosh, the horse didn't get it. And here I am a flap. I feel like a monarch butterfly in migration. So, do not fuss if it fails. Plugs. So, plugs is my code word for you, huh? The outer plug is one of the further forward ones on the power strip. The inner plug is right there. Okay, she's allowed to make, yeah. Plugs went away. As soon as she started lurching and flopping, you did this. And that's because we get anxious to get the right answer. I'd rather wait longer and get the answer righter, if we could say it that way. All right, so you wish again. Plugs. And you can whack her if she says, yeah, but I don't hear nothing. Okay, and you start again. She'll learn faster and better, usually, if you say, I poked you. That's a penalty poke. Now back to where we were. Now let's try it once again, and once again, and once again, and wish. Deep plugs, and whack. Okay, and stop. Because after that, it would have become this, huh?
Floppy arms.
Okay, so we can expect 20 to 50 false starts or non-starts. Okay, screw it down and wish. Ah, excellent. Good. So I said 20 to 50. And it's okay if it's 20 to 50. But my real little psychological point there was, if you're thinking 20 to 50, you're not going to go into some desperate flapping mode at 3. Because everybody does. That's a human thing, huh? If you try something 3 to 5 times and it doesn't work, you'll of course change the plan.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's called, don't beat your head against the wall, stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we have to take into account, horses have a very different learning process in some way. So you're going to say, canter would be nice, but the real issue here is, can it be done with my forearms pushed down? One of them pushed down a little further forward,